Hello everybody, welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm films, and yeah, I feel like everything's working today. I might have just jinxed myself, but let's see what happens. I tried to set up on another computer today, and just was not, the webcam was glitchy, and the way the light was hitting, and I couldn't get a good view of the sign, and there's all these problems. So I was like, alright, I'll just fall back to this computer, which is very antiquated and slow. But there you go. That's what we do. Okay. I have films from different sources today. Some of these from the Prelinger archives, who we've been working with and getting things online. Some of them from my friend who works for the National Archives. We are in the midst of a big project with our scanner, so we'll get back to starting to show more stuff from our collection. But right now, there's some great films in here that I want to share. This one is about how great writing checks are. This is Page of the Order of...
Masterpiece, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, hello, Joan. Well, anyway, Dad can't fire me. Back to school in 2 weeks. Well, what'll you have?
How about 3 cans of Rogers Special?
Sure. Joel?
Yes. Charge it tomorrow. Bye, Bill. See you later.
So long, Joan.
Okay, Sonny, 32.50.
Just a minute, Bill. We always pay by check.
What's the difference, Dad? It's all money, isn't it?
It's much better and easier this way.
I don't get it, Dad. It looks like more trouble to me. Why is it easier to pay with checks instead of with cash?
Bill, it's about time you learned something about checks, because you'll be using them in personal and business affairs for the rest of your life.
Thank you.
So long.
Now here, I want you to take these checks down to the bank and deposit them. While you're there, stop in and see Joan Sterling's dad. He'll straighten you out.
Okay.
I'll call him up. Tell him you're coming.
Sure, Bill. A lot of people at first ask just that same question. Why not use cash? Well, here are the main reasons. Safety, receipts, convenience, records. Take safety, for instance. There's nothing safe about cash unless you're holding it tight in your fist. Like that payment to the frosted food salesman you were talking about. Things like this happen every day. If that had been actual cash, what chance do you think there'd be of getting it back?
Not much, I guess.
That's just where the safety factor of checks comes in. If lost or stolen, only the proper person can cash them. And in the meantime, your money is safe in your bank account.
Well, that's reason enough for me.
Wait a minute, Bill. That's only one good reason for paying by check. What about receipts? Your father himself told me this story. It happened to him just the other day. One of his suppliers called him up. It seemed there was some question of a bill not being paid. Well, your dad didn't waste any time talking. He just got out the canceled check that he'd paid the bill with, and that settled it. You see, your dad had proof that he'd paid that bill. The canceled check was his receipt. Another reason why checks are so widely used is convenience. Payments can be made any time, any place, and by mail, too. Something you wouldn't do with cash. A final big reason is accurate records. A checking account shows exactly where the money goes. Now, there are a good many reasons why people use checks, but these are the four main ones. Bill, do you know how to write a check?
Well, not exactly, I guess.
Well, always use a pen. Then make out your stub first. That's so you'll have a record of what the check is about. Now, on the check, fill in the number, then the date. It should be the date on which the check is drawn. Next, the name of the person being paid, and be sure to spell it right. Now the amount in figures close to the dollar sign, so nobody can put in another number. Cents should be written in smaller figures and underlined. On the next line, write out the amount in words. Cents are a fraction, with 100 as the denominator. Fill in the space that's left with a wavy line, again to prevent alteration. Be sure the amounts in words and numbers agree. If they're different, the amount in words sets the amount of the check. In signing, your signature should agree with the one on file at the bank. Never cross out or change any written part of a check. If you make a mistake, write canceled across the face of it and file it away with your canceled checks. Then draw a new one. Well, that's about it. Any questions?
Well, what about when someone gives me a check? Don't I have to endorse it or something?
Right. There are three forms of endorsement that are widely used. The first one, the blank endorsement, makes the check as good as cash. Anyone could get money for it. So don't endorse it this way until you're ready to cash it. Turn it over, and here's where your endorsement goes. This is the simplest form of endorsement. In the blank endorsement, all you do is write your name across the end of the check. Sign it just the way it's made out to you on the face of the check. A special endorsement is a little different. Say your dad gave you a check and you wanted to transfer to somebody else. You'd name the person you're paying it to. Then write your name the way you did before. Now the other fellow will have to sign his name before he can cash it. Finally, there's the restrictive endorsement. This means the check can be used only for what you say it's to be used for. Endorse checks this way when you're mailing them to the bank for deposit. There's one more thing you ought to know, Bill. If you get a check with your name misspelled or with the wrong initials, endorse it first exactly the way it appears on the face of the check.
Mistake and all?
That's right. But under that, write your name the correct way. Now, is there anything else I can tell you?
Yes, sir. What happens to the money in all this? When you write a check, just where does the real money go and how does it get there?
Well, let's follow a check. Let's take the one your father paid the frosted food salesman today. Here's your father. Here's his bank, our bank. Here's the food distributor, and here's its bank. Your father draws a check for $32.50 payable to the distributor. That check is in order to us to pay $32.50 of your father's money to the distributor. But the distributor, rather than bothering to come here and pick up the money, deposits the check in its bank, and lets that bank collect the money. That means that $32.50 is deducted from your father's account here and added to the distributor's account there. The final step is when we send the check back to your father, endorsed by the distributor and canceled to show that the amount has been paid. We have a special banking process called check clearing, Bill, that takes care of the transfer of money from one bank to another. But that's a whole story in itself. Well, Bill, there's the story of the journey of one check. And it's the same whether it's made out by a housewife, doctor, wage earner, contractor, anyone.
Gee, that's really pretty simple. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sterling.
Well, most things are pretty simple once you understand them. But always be sure you have enough money in your bank account to cover the check.
Mr. Sterling,
Yes?
your daughter is here to see you.
Send her right in, please. Maybe you'd better stick around.
Well, fancy meeting you here.
I was just talking to Mr. Sterling, to your father, about checks.
Well, what a coincidence. Just what I came down about. Dad, you remember that adorable little dress we saw in the store window? And you said that if I really wanted
Yes,
it...
dear, I remember. How much?
Only $10.95. Isn't it a steal?
Well, here goes another one on its way.
Checks are so convenient and so safe. What could possibly go wrong? Oh boy. I don't know about you, but at the grocery store, when somebody busts out a checkbook, we're like, oh. And it's too bad. It's too bad. All right, let's learn about Cape Cod, our national... I have the title wrong. I'll fix it. National something something. Cape Cod. Enjoy.
The beginning and the end of the land that is America. Here is Cape Cod. Seek the riches of this place. Beyond the sweep of sand, beyond the sea waves' race. Look down at the tide-pushed seaweed beneath the shallow water, the salt marsh, a quiet moment between land and sea. Water and life, lodged in a gentle eddy, strange shapes, delicate movements, a sea world stranded for your eye, awaiting the flush tide, bearing new food, new life. Headlands looking ever east. Water moving ever west. Here they meet on narrow sand. Yet here, the life of this land roots and reaches, even east. Man alone dares raise his head higher than the sea cliffs. Wind-shorn trees dare not loft, but keep their beauty close against the earth. On down the slope westerly, and more trees, until they are a forest. The glaciers in their leaving hid treasures to be found. Kettle ponds, cool, blue, and fresh. Still, faint in the air, the measured drum of surf. The sea is there. Bay cliffs slope to sanctuary, a sometime rest for sea and sand. Meadows in a gentle melody roll the land. Your eyes reward the delicate flowered life. Toward the hook, the Cape is a restless land. The moving dunes, the forest swallowed. The land changed and new. Nature's force, plain to see. Sand, wind, and changing sun. Beauty, gaunt and golden. Look, take the time. Hear the measured beat. Cape Cod. Find man's mark in trackless sand. The mark that goes back to the Pilgrim and beyond. Here is more than surf and sand. Here is beach and cliff, forest, pond, dune and bay. Here is Cape Cod.
So that was brought to us by our good friends at the United States Information Agency, and that film probably was not meant for American eyes. It was meant to be shown outside the country to talk about how great the United States is. And there was an actual Congress actually had a law in place about that these films made by the USIA were not allowed to be shown in the U.S. Because they might influence, because they're propaganda, they might influence the American public to change its view on things, which is hilarious. Okay, this is got two safety films, two brand new safety films. I'm excited. This is Accidentally Yours.
I live here. It's a good place in which to raise my family. We like to fill our homes with a great variety of creature comforts, tools, and all the new labor-saving machines. Everything is geared to make lives easier and happier. Yet we, the people who live here, must be taught the safe use of new consumer products we need and want to enjoy. I'm Adam Smith. This is my better half, Eve. Our son, Billy, like most kids, is somewhere else. Hey, what's the commotion at Charlie Manchester's place? Poor guy. He's got the worst luck of any man I know. Moved in here only a year ago. He and his whole family are accident repeaters. Tell you what I mean. The month after they moved here, his wife fell down the staircase. His daughter spilled hot bacon fat all over herself. If that wasn't enough, his mother-in-law, who was visiting, slipped on Charlie's wet kitchen floor. They say old Charlie passed out from carbon monoxide fumes. Bad ventilation in his garage. Most people are just careless, I guess. But not me, not me. We've never had an accident here, have we, dear? Not our family. Too bad, Charlie. Too bad. As long as Billy and his pals stay off my porch and away from the windows, I let them play here. Hope my new lawn seed and that new patent fertilizer will do the trick in the spring. Later, when I've planted the shrubbery, watch out! Gosh, Billy is lucky. He might have cut a tendon or an artery. And he might have wound up alongside Charlie at Central Hospital. Why I didn't install a safety glass door last spring, I don't know. Guess I was just penny wise and pound stupid. Foolish. Well, despite all the excitement over the accident and the neighbors piling up on our front porch, my pretty sister-in-law kept to her baby's regular schedule. Like a lot of young mothers around here, Molly thinks that plastics are a new wonder material and plastic bags are just wonderful, and it's true. When they are used to cover suits or shirts, and Eve's dresses coming from the cleaners, or wrapping silverware to keep it from tarnishing, covering rose bushes in winter, they're great. But when mothers use the thin plastic film as protective coverings for the baby's crib or carriage, or as a bedspread to change him on, then I think the girls are making a serious mistake. It's all a question of the misuse of a useful commodity. Polyethylene film is an excellent and safe product when used properly. But babies and small children love to play with the stuff. Older kids love to blow them up or stick their heads into them when playing games. Believe me, it's risky. Plastic film may cling to the mouth and nostrils of infants, suffocating them. No careful parent lets children play with matches, knives, or medicines. Plastic bags improperly used can be just as dangerous. Molly has no alibi for not heeding the warning label printed on the bags. Eve and I don't have so many nephews that we'd care to lose this one. Billy was already back in the game, and Eve by now had gotten over her fit with Molly. So I asked the neighbors to come to the rear of the house. I had a surprise for them. I love mixing the outdoors with the indoor fun. Sliding glass doors make this possible. But here, I've combined beauty with safety and protection when I installed tempered safety glass. Run a walk into tempered glass and you might bump your nose, but you'd almost never get seriously hurt or injured by it. The sound you're hearing is my friend Harry Cornell driving his new garden tractor. He's a real Saturday morning power equipment show-off. Ouch! That fixes me for the rest of the day. Perhaps old Harry will be a good neighbor and help me with my chores today. I wish Eve would stop badgering me. I'm just not as smart with garden tools as Harry is. More to satisfy my wife than myself, I decided to do a little mowing. I didn't want Harry to make me look silly. But the pain in my ankle was too severe. No question of it, Harry is an accommodating fellow. It's quite an education watching Harry. When he starts the mower, he keeps his feet well away from the discharge chute. This keeps the spinning blade away from his toes just in case he slips. The rock hit Harry as though it were a bullet. See here, Harry forgot the first law of mowing. Clear the path ahead of the machine. The spinning blade can pick up trash and throw it quite hard. Oh, now look at that. You see what I told you? Here's something you must never do. You never make manual adjustments while the blade is rotating. Always stop the motor and disconnect the spark plug before cleaning grass and debris clogging the discharge chute. I'm very pleased Harry is so resourceful. He senses danger when little Linda and her pet appear. It's too easy for curious bystanders to get severely cut or to lose fingers or toes in the revolving blade. When Harry began mowing on an incline, he forgot the warning that you never run up and down a slope. The machine could easily roll back over his toes. Later I realized Harry was doing a very dangerous thing, trying to drive down the back road to the country club while using his tractor as a personal vehicle. As for me, I like my mower so much, I really must go back and read the instruction manual to learn the rules for safe and sane operation of this fine labor-saving tool. Most manufacturers display a triangular seal on their machines. This means that the design of their products conform to established industry safety standards. Finally, the glazer showed up with a new door with tempered safety glass. If I'd had it installed earlier, my Billy would not have been hurt. Now I feel pretty good about adding this protection to my front door, too. Men have been making and using glass for 500 years. It's the cleanest, clearest material we use. Ordinary glass is easily broken and could be dangerous with its sharp spears and slivers. Tempered safety glass is stronger, and should it break, it's fail-safe. The glass turns into small powder-like crystals that reduce personal injuries. Tempered safety glass not only resists greater impact than ordinary glass of equal thickness, it provides greater safety. That's why I want it. A day of accidents and near accidents. They've taught me a little humility and some common sense rules about taking seriously the safe use of useful consumer products. And oh yes, Eve adds her amen to mine and says, thanks for coming.
Certainly glad to see all of you here tonight, and I think I've met most of you, and I hope you know me. I'm Harry Williams. The incidents we've seen here tonight are not at all the kind of thing that happens only to the other guy. Many of us can be injured in our own homes unless we recognize the risk and do something about it. I think you'll be surprised to learn, as I was, what I found out in obtaining this film from Dr. Henderson of our own city health department. And he's a very fine guy, and you should get to know him. Accidental injuries are the fourth leading cause of death in the country, and the first cause of death among Americans in the age group 1 to 35. Health workers throughout the nation are trying to reduce injuries by teaching people how to select and use household products safely. As I understand it, federal health officials are learning more about the causes of accidental injuries involving household products and what can be done to prevent them. These facts are then used by manufacturers to make their products safer and more efficient. We, the consumers, are the real beneficiaries when the talents and the ingenuity of industry and government combine to provide better and safer household products. Well, that's it. I certainly am glad you came, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week at our neighborhood meeting. Okay?
Such an upbeat ending, song-wise. Pretty great. Okay, that was from the Prelinger Archive. They've been scanning films. They just added 14,000 films that they did, but they had 2 scanners going, and they had a big staff, and it's slowly making its way out, and we're helping get it on YouTube and stuff like that. So. This one is a work safety film, The Roofer's Pitch. I think it's Canadian. Enjoy.
This is Friday. The time, about 3 in the afternoon. By the look of things, this roofing job isn't going to get finished today. And at this rate, it won't be completed next week either. What's happened then? Where's the roofing crew? Where's the roofing crew? Well, an hour ago, there was action up here. There were 5 men working on the roof. One of them was Carlos Fernandez, new to the job of roofing. Everything was fine. The weekend was ahead, the paychecks on their way, and the job would have been finished the early part of next week. Then came the accident. Carlos Fernandez was a good worker, but he had been with his crew for only a few weeks, usually careful. Today, he made a mistake.
This accident is to change a lot of things for a lot of people for a long time to come. Most of the crew know and like Carlos Fernandez. Right now they want to help him. But except for covering him with a coat, they know they mustn't move a man who has fallen. This is a job for trained personnel who know how to lift a man without causing further injury. This accident hits one man in particular pretty hard, and that's the foreman, Joe. Carlos Fernandez is his friend. But that doesn't help now. At this moment, Joe has an accident on his hands. That means he'll have to contact the safety inspector so that he can make out a full report. But first he telephones his boss to let him know what's happened. It was Joe who met Carlos and his wife when they first arrived in this country. Joe got him his first job in roofing. Nothing is quite the same after an accident, especially to those closest to the man involved. Bill knows that this kind of news is very difficult to break.
I was afraid that something like this might happen. I was just afraid it might. Right from the beginning, when he first started on the job, I told him, "What do you know about roofing? It's all new to you. Get him to tell you how to do the job properly." But he just went ahead. I'll tell them. I'll tell Joe.
Later, Joe called around to see Mrs. Fernandez. She said some pretty important things to him. An accident affects everyone, from the man's buddies who work with him right through to the boss who runs the company. You only have to break the news to the family once. Go visit the guy in the hospital just once, and you've had enough to do with accidents to last you a lifetime. You ask yourself, how did he come to make such a mistake? How much is it my fault? What about our safety program? Are we all doing enough? Thinking enough? In that hospital, at this moment, Carlos Fernandez lies seriously injured, perhaps for life. It's going to be a long weekend. And for Joe, it seems particularly long. He pretends there's nothing wrong. On Saturday, he puts a swing up for the kids. But he can't get Carlos out of his mind, nor that hole in the roof.
How did he fall through such a small opening? Did he move the curb, or was it somebody else?
There's another thing he can't get out of his mind either. What Mrs. Fernandez said to him.
He's a good worker. You know that, Joe. But he started off all wrong. He had to pick up everything as he went along. No one really took the time to train him the right way.
Maybe that's it. Everybody's pulling in different directions, not like a team. Maybe we should take another look at the way we work. I'll talk to Bill about this on Monday.
Bill started this company about 20 years ago. During that period of time, it has grown to what it is today. It hasn't been easy. Bill will admit to that. In fact, it's been a lot of hard work. Over the years, there have been a number of accidents, but mostly minor ones. When one has occurred, Bill has usually made out a report, tried to find out the cause, and then, well, the pile of everyday work has taken over again, and it's been a matter of getting on with the job of running the company. But this accident with Carlos is different. Because of the seriousness of the injury, it has made Bill stop and think about what working safely really means. Doing the job the right way helps to prevent accidents and at the same time increases efficiency and productivity. This time, the running of the company will have to wait. Bill realizes that if there is to be an enforcement of safety rules, he'll have to start them. After that, it will be up to his foremen and their crews. He becomes much more aware of what's going on around him. One of his men lifting a load the right way by using his legs to take the weight. Then a near accident.
Hey, watch out!
Maybe nobody got hurt, but that mop handle will have to be replaced. It's the small as well as the big things that have to be watched. Most of this material is pretty heavy, so it has to be loaded and stacked in the proper way. Doing the job correctly can prevent a lot of damage on the way to the job site. For instance, propane gas tanks must be standing up and have protective collars around the necks all the time. That's not just safe practice, it's also the law. Everything has to be in good working order, particularly the fire extinguisher, which must be fully charged. And a properly equipped first aid kit is essential. It doesn't take long to make sure that the kettle is hitched on properly. Bill tells Joe that from now on things are going to be different. It's going to be different, all right. Important, too, for everyone. And especially for one person, Manuel, who is replacing Carlos. Manuel is new to this kind of work, and he has another problem on this particular morning. He's lost. Fortunately, Joe is able to help him get to the job site. Joe remembers what Carlos' wife said to him about her husband's lack of training. That's why he's going to spend more time with Manuel, making sure that he learns the right way. Right from the start, he tells Manuel that burns are a continuing hazard with roofing, that there are precautions that have to be taken, like keeping his hands and arms well covered. Joe wants Manuel to understand that the first steps in learning to be a good roofer are those concerned with safety, his own and the safety of his buddies. Joe doesn't want to scare him. He just wants him to know that there are dangers to working on a roof, just as there are in crossing a street, and that if he is aware of these dangers, then he'll avoid accidents. Take this ladder, for instance. It gets used a lot during the course of the day. It has to be properly constructed, with good, strong supports between the rungs. Joe cautions Manuel never to have two on a ladder at the same time. He shows Manuel that the ladder is well tied in at the top. Because of the accident, Joe is more aware of potential dangers, like this man who was smoking a cigarette at the same time as he was refueling the hoist engine. That worker was lucky not to lose his life. Joe takes Manuel to meet Pedro, who will show him his first job. First of all, Pedro shows Manuel that there's a right way to do every job, even to opening up the insulation wrappers. and to stacking the wrappers properly so that they don't blow all over the deck. And so a new week gets underway. Pretty soon things are going smoothly. But it's at times like these, when work becomes routine, that accidents are likely to occur. Now is the time to be extra safety conscious. To make sure that the hoist has got sufficient counterbalance. This weight should be at least 1.5 times that of the load being lifted. To remember things like hard hats, and not to stand underneath the load as it's being hoisted.
Hey, watch out! Shut off the pump!
Joe knows that when the pump didn't shut off, then somebody could have been badly burned. But the man on the hot carrier is lucky. Now, it's just a matter of moving the pipe and cleaning up the spilled bitumen. And getting the pump going again. Or is it? Maybe it would have been before today, but right now Joe wants to try something he's heard of but never got around to doing. Tying a chalk line to the spark plug wire. One quick tug and the engine stops. It's not the most elaborate invention, but you ask the guy who's had a burn, and he'll say anything's worth trying. The rest of the day goes pretty smoothly. It's just a matter of getting on with the job, almost routine. Joe's made sure of that. He knows that there's a long way to go yet. But he's seen his crew work as a team, noticed how they helped Manuel learn his job. And when it comes time to wrap up for the day and go home, everyone senses that it hasn't been routine. And there's one thing more. Today, it seems as though the roof got covered a bit more quickly. Teamwork can make a difference. For Joe, any morning like this is routine. He must have done it hundreds of times before. But since the accident, he has become more aware of the way his crew works. This morning, he didn't actually notice that his kettleman wasn't wearing his goggles. It simply registered somewhere in the back of his mind. To Joe, the proper firing of the kettle is vitally important. The valve on the burner must be closed before firing. Joe checks the line from the kettle to the propane tank for any leakage of gas. A leak can be seen, smelled, or heard. He notices that the propane gas tank is a good 30 feet away from the kettle. Meanwhile, the kettleman, Mike, cracks open the valve on the burner and lights it. He inserts the flame into the kettle and turns the valve on the burner fully on. Because weather affects the pressure from the tank to the burner, pressure must be regulated by the controller valve. When the burner is first lit, the pressure should be around 10 pounds per square inch and then slowly raised to 30. This is done by adjusting the valve on the pressure controller. In case of fire in the kettle, a leaking hose, or the flame being snuffed out, then the gas container valve must be turned off immediately. After that, it is a matter of starting all over again, with the nose removed from the kettle. Having made sure that his crew is working safely and efficiently, Joe now gets on with his work. He always figured he could do this with his eyes closed, but after last Friday, he's not so sure. For instance, before the accident, he'd have removed the curb and then mopped over the hole. Now he's not taking any chances.